Hi, my name is Roya, and this is my son. What's your name?
Nana.
Alexander, and he is 7 years old, and he's in the first grade. Alexander also has Down syndrome. I also recognize that Alexander has areas of weakness where he could use additional assistance on speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. As his sole provider, I understand most words that Alexander speaks, but a lot of times we have to continue to say, what did you say? I didn't understand. And I know at times that can be very frustrating for him. Holding and gripping a pencil correctly may come naturally to some, but this skill has limited his ability to write his name, and Alexander is a long name. Alexander receives no more than 60 minutes of therapy per week during the school day. Most times he is grouped with 2 or more students, limiting his opportunity to have one-on-one individual training. I know with extra services, his areas of weakness would turn into strengths, and he would have a better chance of reaching his full potential. He has received therapy outside of school in the past, and with the additional support, he thrived. We have been continuously denied continuous therapy, accessible therapy outside of the classroom that should be covered by our insurance. Unfortunately, as a single parent, I cannot afford to continuously pay for services out of pocket that his doctors, teachers, therapists, and myself all know that he needs. I am asking you to support funding affordable therapy services, maybe free occupational, physical, or speech services for kids like Alexander, or simply fight to ask insurance companies to make better decisions based on the stated need or medical diagnosis. I appreciate your service and thank you for your time and support.
Hello world, my name is Alonso Calderon Guzman. I have ADHD and I was recently diagnosed late with autism this past year. I love acting, voice acting. I do a lot of trippy psychedelic art, and I'm an experienced martial artist, and I love watching movies and TV. Hopefully I'll get the opportunity to express how every person on the spectrum is different through acting and voice acting, pretty much in the arts of entertainment. The challenges I've went through all my life, especially being undiagnosed throughout my life until last year, especially the bullying and being put down a lot, being abandoned by other classmates or friends, thinking that I was the odd one, but deep down, being weird is really not a bad thing. It's just, our brains just simply work different. I just really want other people to be aware of our condition. If there was a cure for autism, deep down, I really do not want to change for who I am. Because deep down, I really don't see the point of being someone that I'm not. And that is a neurotypical. I am who I am.
This is our story. My name is Momin Ahmed. My beautiful daughter name is, what's your name? Anisa Ahmed. She's 7 years old and born with the Down syndrome, and she's in 2nd grade at Shen Elementary in Nashville, Tennessee. It is always a battle with the school system for the school to follow her IEP, which is Individualized Education Program. It is a broken system for special need kids. They use a one-size-fits-all, even though every individual has an IEP. Every kid is unique in their own way and has different ways of learning. After a long battle, she finally began attending in general education classes. But in the process, my daughter, she missed out a whole lot in the whole kindergarten learning. Just when I think the battle is over, she got left out in general education classes because they don't have enough paraprofessional to take care of her, to take her to other classes. For a long period of time, she had to share a para 3 to 4 other kids. And when that happens, she has to go to other kids' classes rather than her own class. Now she's in 2nd grade, and this year we have the same problem. Anissa is independent and smart. Because of that issue, she's a lot behind. It is not easy as a single mother advocating for my daughter, working full-time and support my daughter at home. I'm fortunate Anissa didn't have any medical issue. But instead of helping my daughter in her homework and focus on other activities with bonding with her, I'm spending my time and energy fighting with the school. I would love to see some changes in the school system for our kids to get a proper support and education they deserve. Also, teachers and other school staff members need a training how to treat and teach our special need kids.
I am Bertie Ackerson. I am a student at Harvard High School.
Our problem that we would like to discuss is child support. And when going through a divorce and you have a child with special needs, it needs to be in the final decree that it needs to be included that there is financial support for the life of the child. It's not just my responsibility to financially support our child. It's he chose to leave. And it's his responsibility as much as mine to financially support Brandon. You know, unfortunately, mortgages due, bills are due. So it's scary. Brandon needs security, and he needs it from both of his parents, not just one of them. Please help us add the Brandon addition to the final decree of a divorce.
My name is Brian Williams. I am 53 years old from Clarksville, Tennessee. I have a high-functioning autism called Asperger's syndrome, which was first diagnosed in 2007. My journey with autism has had many peaks and valleys. Many like me will get misdiagnosed or not get the proper help. Others will fall into a very wide spectrum between mild and severe. And others will fall into the trap that we all had heard: you don't look like someone who has autism. Knowledge is the key for all of us. As you can see as we are gathered, many of us has come together as one, from autism to Down syndrome, but we all have many different needs, from financial to medical to proper therapy to just being accepted as a whole. On a personal note, many minorities have suffered through so much from generations, from proper distrust to just plain out we just didn't know. And now, more than ever, as advances have grown, mental illness care for all of us has come at a very rapid rate.
Hello, my name is Leslie Weldon. I am 21 years old. I am an adult with Down syndrome. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee with my mom, dad, and brother Sterling. For the past 2 years, if I work as a server at one of the coffee shops in my community. I needed people to be patient and understanding. I want them to know that I could do my job and to see my abilities. I was being blamed for not giving customers the correct order, but I followed the ticket information and knew I had done the order correctly. I talked to the owner, and 2 days later, I told her I did the ticket correctly. She went back and checked and found out that I was right. I dropped right. I wanted people to not think they can blame me and I not to offend myself. If I had a job coach, the situation would have been handled differently. I want to take what I have learned at my current job to be successful in my next job.
And I know some of you are probably wondering why Destiny didn't already have a job coach, because there are programs out there for that. Destiny graduated from high school in Colorado. So when we moved back to Tennessee in 2019, we didn't have access to some of the resources and programs that most individuals with disabilities have. The school she graduated from didn't offer a special needs diploma, so we could not get into the transition program that they offered here in Williamson County. So with that in mind, we set out to find services on our own, which was not easy to come by. We didn't find out about job coaches or how you go into getting job coaches until she was already working there, and we went to a resource fair, and that's how we found that out. The thing that we felt would be best is if we could find that information somewhere in the same location. If we had access to that information when she moved back here, but there was no centralized location for us to find that information, which made it very difficult for her and makes it also difficult for a lot of other adults that are trying to find services that they need or even to find a job. And we rely on what we can find on the internet, what we can Google through certain organizations that are big named organizations that we know of. But if you don't get to the right people, you don't get the right contact information, you're still lost. And therefore we lost valuable time that she could have been in programs that could have been helpful for her because we were trying to research. So if there was some way to centralize that information, that would be a great benefit and asset for us and for other families with children that are adult.
Can you look at them and give them a camera pose? Can you give them a pose? Give me your pose. Oh. Look at them. That's good.
And what activities do you like to play? Soccer. What else? The
problem that we see with this is there's not always funding or the right people to help assist somebody like Grace. She's very capable of doing it. However, there just doesn't seem to be enough resources. And we talk about resources, it's either the money or the people to go out there and just give that extra helping hand that may be needed to help her guide her through the situation. So our ask is, and what we're proposing is that if the schools could have funding set aside to make sure that the proper assistance or people could be available to help people like Grace so that she can go out there and be a part of these extracurricular activities just like her typical peers.
Hey, my name is James Snopney. I am in the 10th grade at Dixon County High School. I run on the cross country and track teams. Go Cougars. I am working on the AAD diploma. I am learning math and reading and science and history. I study at my own level in regular classes. I would not being in a different class away from my friends.
I'm Joshua Riley. I'm 24 and I'm from Nashville. I was diagnosed with autism and also congenital spinal disease at the age of 19. As an adult with several lifelong disabilities, the most difficult obstacle I've faced as of now is safe and affordable housing. Although I am lucky enough to have a safe living situation now, I've had to live in halfway houses where I was abused, apartment living situations with little or no support, and family model living situations in less safe areas of Nashville, solely because of my financial situation. And I still struggle paying bills as I have been living on SSDI since COVID. I do receive funds from the ECF Choices program, but because I have chosen the consumer direction option in the program, none of my funds can be used for my housing expenses. Consumer direction allows for the most independence but also carries the most liability for me and my parents. Therefore, the majority of my budget sits unused while my parents must close the gap financially to provide for my housing. If even just 15% of my ECF Choices budget could be used towards affordable housing, it would transform my experience because a self-advocate that feels safe in his home, is volunteering, is employed, and moving towards independence will begin to rely less and less on government programs.
Hi, my name is Jovi Talbot. I'm an autistic teenager who has lived in Tennessee for my entire life, and by the time you're seeing this, I've turned 16. Currently, I'm studying to become an entomologist or story writer, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to live off of my art someday. I was in the Wilson County school system for most of my childhood, but right now I'm currently attending a small private school in Madison. My experience in the public school system was that teachers tend to be very clueless on what to do when it comes to an autistic kid. There would be times when I'd be very clearly stressed out and pushed to keep doing work despite making it very clear I was unable to. I had daily meltdowns in school due to the teacher's unknowingness on how to help me. I had an IEP, also known as an Individualized Education Plan, which laid out specific requirements and exemptions I would have in school. Almost everyone at my school is either some sort of autistic or otherwise disabled or neurodivergent, and I think that speaking to them has given me a lot more insight. I've heard about teachers ignoring bullying that goes to blatant physical abuse, locking kids in dark lockers, and kids being held up on doing plain addition up until 5th grade and then having to graduate. All classrooms should be equipped with at least one teacher's assistant, or maybe a 2-to-1 teacher-to-assistant ratio. All schools should also be equipped with sensory equipment for kids, such as noise-blocking earphones, fidget toys, and more than one sensory room for kids to go to when they're having meltdowns or they're very stressed or just otherwise need a break from the class. Finally, I think teachers should be given proper resources, such as books and training, in order to know how to handle an autistic or neurodivergent kid. So many issues so many of us face could be solved better by teachers just knowing what to do during a meltdown, what to do when a kid is misbehaving. Teachers need to know how to communicate something in a helpful and informative way, and they need to know how to properly help a kid having a meltdown, aside from just chucking them in unschool suspension or detention and hoping for the best. While these few changes wouldn't be cure-all, fix-alls to the issues we face in school, I think that these things being enforced and provided could potentially be of very good assistance. Us autistic people, we want to succeed, and I'm very sure that our legislators want us to as well.
I'm Tamika Strother, and this is my son, Keyston Flood. Say hey.
Hi.
Keyston is 12, and he attends Restoring Hope Christian Academy. I worked for City of Gallatin for 6 years, and I worked for the Board of Education in Gallatin for 6 months. My issue has been that I'm not able to maintain a current employment because I miss too many days because Keyston is out. He has several medical issues, and so it just makes it hard when he gets colds, things like that, for us to, or for me to maintain employment. So right now, I haven't been employed since April of last year, unemployed since April of last year, and I am basically just depending on my parents. And my issues are just being able to depend on, like, not having to depend on family and being able to be more self-sufficient to care for Keyston. A lot of times with autism, ADHD, and Down syndrome, we have some behavior issues in school that they kind of have to call him out for or call me out of work for, and they need some help kind of bringing him kind of, I guess, to a medium. So it would honestly help if we had some, I know that there's FMLA because my background is in human resources, but it would be awesome to have an additional regulation for parents, especially single parents of children with special needs, so that they are able to maintain employment and to care for their children with special needs.
Hi, my name is Kirsten J. Henderson, and I'm an artist/filmmaker. So I'm 30 years old and I live in Franklin, Tennessee. So whenever I'm 30, that means I'm an adult. The problem I faced as a young kid is that I was trying to fit in or was trying to be like everybody else. And I pretty much had issues making friends in the past world, and I've been bullied in the past world before. So I was kind of a different kid. I ended up learning how to be myself no matter what other people said about me. So I learned that I cannot let autism define me, and I learned that I do feel special, and I learned that I can just be myself.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Duncan.
And this is Lucas. Also happens to have trisomy 21, or as you may know it, Down syndrome.
We envision a world where Lucas is not only included in and out of the classroom, but accepted and valued. A world where he is seen for who he is, a kind-hearted kid who loves music and church, not for his disability. A world where he'll have the same opportunities as his typically developing peers.
We feel that the more that people with disabilities are included and accepted, the less they are seen as being different.
We were able to get enrolled in the Katie Beckett waiver program, and that program has been a big financial assistance to us. Having our own health insurance, certain things that aren't covered, numerous therapy visits and specialist visits, and all those other items that our health insurance doesn't help cover. That waiver's been a big financial support to our family since we've become enrolled in it. For our family and other families and future families of those who have children with disabilities, we ask that these state programs continue to be funded and even expanded, not just for children and for those under the age of 18, but also for adults in our community and our state, that future programs help with their needs and assistance as they grow and they get older.
Hi, my name is Nora. I use they, them pronouns. I'm 24, almost 25, and I've lived here in Nashville since I graduated from Vanderbilt University in 2019. I am currently, I checked this morning, I'm 78% of the way done with my application for Social Security, or with the process. I've applied, I'm just waiting, and I have an appointment later actually this month, but I've done all I can with the applications and with talking with the right people and calling people and doing things I can to get the supports that I need, but there's really nothing else I can do. But there is something that y'all can do. First, it is really hard and really overwhelming to be diagnosed with not only one, not only two, but a plethora of long-time chronic neurodivergencies, things that I've been dealing with forever, and lifetime disabilities. I'm not able to work. I don't have health insurance. I don't have a supportive family. I don't have people I can really turn to. And so I didn't really know what, if you look up resources for autistic adults, there isn't really any. And if there are, you have to have Social Security, or you have to have a parent, or you have to XYZ. There's all these things that you have to do, but there isn't one place to actually get help. There isn't somewhere you can go to be like, hey, I need Social Security. I need all these things. How can you help me? And they can walk me through that process. It would be extremely beneficial to have one place to go to that autistic and otherwise disabled and neurodivergent people and anyone can go to get support, because we all need help sometime. Secondly, since July, I've been trying to look since July, there hasn't been a single application for even the wait list of Section 8 housing. If you don't have housing, you don't have somewhere to live, and there's not any Section 8 support since July, it's now March. That's a really big problem. The Social Security benefits are not actually a livable wage. Additionally, there needs to be something in place where applicants can get support, actual financial support, while they're waiting for their Social Security benefits, because it takes 7+ months to be approved or even disapproved. And a lot of times you get denied Social Security even though you are very much deserving and needing the benefits.
Hello, my name is Charmaine Pearson. I have a Down syndrome and I am 48 years old. I have lived in Nashville for 18 years and I am very active. I work at Aaron's Furniture on Northville Road. I live with my mom and dad who both work. When my parents can't take me somewhere, I take the Access Ride buses. They are part of the Metro transportation system. The problem is that there aren't enough buses and there aren't enough drivers. Sometimes the bus I have scheduled doesn't show up at all. Often they are late, and sometimes I'm on the bus longer than I'm involved in activity. I'm going to on the bus. This is a problem because I'm sometimes late to work. My employers have had to be understanding about my bus schedules. I'm lucky they have been. Please ask your fellow legislators to support funding for more buses and more better trained drivers. Help folks like me to be working, happy, tax-paying citizens. And it will also allow me to be social and participate in community.
Hello, my name is Will McMillan, and I am from Nashville, Tennessee. I want to talk to you about walkability. Before I do, I'd like to tell you about myself. I'm a self-advocate. I like to read for fun. I like spending time with my friends. I have voted in every election. I'm a graduate of Paul Second High School and Next Steps at Vanderbilt. I work for the District Attorney's Office. The problem is that it's hard to find safe places to walk. In my neighborhoods, where my apartment is and where my family home is, there aren't many sidewalks. I began walking more during the pandemic, and there are many areas where there aren't good sidewalks. I even found studies that show that people who live in neighborhoods with good places to walk are healthier. Thank you for taking your time to meet with me. I am happy to follow up and answer any questions you have. I am also happy to provide any resources. Next time you are in my neighborhood, come take a walk with me.